welcome back to my channel. Now, if you are new here, hi, my name is Miss Flores. If you're not new here, hello, welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about our different forms of energy. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, oh my god, you sound so sick. I am sick. So, today we're going to get a little bit of help from my friend, Mini-Me. This is Mini-Me. She has purple hair, not red hair. She dyed it back in July. Okay, let's get ready. So let's go ahead and talk about our last unit. Yes, our last unit. So last time we focused on force and motion. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Well, energy transfers out to other forms of energy. We are going to go straight to electrical circuits, and then we're going to go to light energy. So why are we going backwards? Well, when we think about energy, we have to think about the fact that for every action, there's a reaction, cause and effect. Now, in our last unit, we learned about force and motion. That means we learned about the pushes and pulls, the motion, why there's objects that are moving in place until something is stopped. When we think about the types of motion, we think about the 6 forms that it has. First, what even is energy? Energy is a natural phenomenon or the occurrence of something happening. We know that anytime we have energy, something is going on. So, with our 6 types of energy, we have chemical, mechanical, electrical, light, thermal, and we have sound energy. So what even is chemical energy? Chemical energy is the natural appearance of the chemical compounds or any type of chemical reaction that we have when it comes to another transfer of energy. We know this especially when it comes to batteries. Batteries are one of the number 1 most common chemical energy forms that we have. Or examples, my bad, of chemical energy. I'm a little sick. I have some brain fog. Oh well. Next, we have mechanical energy. Mechanical energy is the movement, which is why I had to bring y'all all the way back to the force and motion unit. Mechanical energy is the energy that often starts off a lot of other energy forms. How am I going to be able to do something if I don't get up and do it? If it doesn't involve me first. Next, we have electrical energy. Electrical energy is the energy that is transmitted through electrical currents, whether in your electrical circuits or in other electronic devices. We know this especially due to later on learning about electrical flow and the flow of electrons being transmitted through the different parts of an electrical circuit. Then we have light energy. Light energy is, of course, the natural phenomenon that happens when you either have electricity or the magnetic fields or the objects that are given off by our light sources. Either they can be natural or artificial. Some of the best known sources of light is literally the sun. It is the biggest source of light that we have here on planet Earth. We also talked about in class bioluminescence, which is the natural light that comes off of animals. Then you have artificial light from objects that are electronic devices with lamps, lights, anything that comes off of a device. You also then have thermal energy, the energy of heat. Now, here's the thing. A lot of the times we often think of thermal energy specifically being hot. Heat and temperature don't always correlate to being hot or high temperatures. Don't forget, 30 degrees is still temperature. Cold weather is still temperatures. It's still thermal energy. It just depends on how much it has or how less it has. It's always going to have some kind of temperature. The next type of energy that we have is sound energy. Sound energy is, of course, the energy that comes off from vibrations that are being passed on from one object through a medium. So that can be a solid, liquid, or gas. The vibrations go through the air, particles, and then they come to our ears and they vibrate inside our little brains and we register it. So those are the 6 kinds of energy that we have. Don't forget C motes: chemical, mechanical, electrical, light, thermal, and sound energy. I'm so tired. Let's go ahead and talk about the 6 types of energy. First, we have chemical energy. Chemical energy is from the natural reaction that comes off of different objects. So let's say chemical energy. Mechanical energy is movement. Electrical energy comes from electricity, your charged particles, those electrical currents that are going through your circuits. We have light energy. Light energy is the energy that we, of course, get from emissions. Next, we have thermal energy. Thermal, it's our temperature, our heat. Rub your hands together to make heat. Then we have sound energy. Sound energies are from the vibrations that we have coming from the air into our eardrum and registering in our brain. First, we need to remember that there are 6 forms of energy. We have chemical, mechanical, electrical, light, thermal, and sound energy. Now, what happens if we observe an object coming into action with all of these energy forms? Here, I have my blender. My blender is going to be connected to my outlet, and then I have my smoothie in here, and I'm going to do whatever I need to do in order to get what I need. However, first we need to identify what the first type of energy we are going to have. I already see an electrical socket and I see my cord here, so I know that first I'm going to have electrical energy. Then I see right here that I have my little buttons and my light, so I know I'm probably going to have to press my buttons for the object to work, for my blender to work. So that means I'm going to have to also have mechanical energy. Now, the light can be written down as light energy, but once I go ahead and have the blades moving, that's mechanical energy. And also, what happens when you turn on the blender? It makes a lot of sound, so I'm also going to have sound energy. Now, how would I write this out? First, I talk about my first energy form that I have to transfer from. So that means I have electrical energy first. My electrical energy is going to transfer is going to the rest of my object, so it's from the outlet oh my god. So electrical energy from the outlet is then going to transfer to mechanical energy because I have to move the buttons, and then it's moving the blades inside, so it's mechanical energy. And then from the blades, so from both the buttons and the blades, and is also going to produce our sound energy. Somebody barking. Now, here's the big idea. I have these three. I have electrical, mechanical, and sound. But we also mentioned about the little buttons. The buttons have light energy, so we also have light energy from the buttons. We also have, don't forget, if you leave the, don't forget, if you also have your machine working for a very long time, eventually all of that temperature is going to rise and you're going to have thermal energy that is going to be coming from the long usage. Now, let's go ahead and investigate what this will really look like when I apply it to something in the real world. So let's go ahead and check out some energy. First, I have my house. Now, my house is filled with electricity. Inside of the walls, I have wires that connect to my outlets. Here, I have my outlet. My outlet is connected with a cord. My cord is connected to my amp. Now, inside the house, because it's circuits, I have electrical energy. Inside my amp has its own circuits, its own electronic devices pieces. So all of it is going to register the sound whenever I play my instrument. How can I have my instrument sound, right? I have to have something that strums it. So you have mechanical energy from your fingers that go ahead and make the sound. Now, remember, sound energy is actually the energy that is coming off of vibrating particles. It's not just whatever that's coming out of the instrument. You have to think, my vibrations are causing the particles to shake. They're moving, they're vibrating. So all of that here from my solid string is going through the air. The vibrations are still passing through the air particles into my ears and into my brain registering. So if I have to play a song, I have to make sure that I'm strumming it correctly and that my amp is able to pick up the vibrations so I can then hear it. That's how it works.